Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Well, if I don't welcome Titi, Titi is gonna beat me.
Why? What?
Have you been here this week?
No, I haven't.
Since the first time you've been here?
Yeah,
since
this week. Yes, so it's a happy new week for me.
Since you're...
My word, my word. What did I do?
Good morning and welcome, Titi. It's great to have you. Welcome.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, because
good to be back.
Yeah, Titi will do it more for me, so maybe let me just...
Oh.
So,
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for letting us back into your homes. Every morning you do this from 7 a.m. Of course, you're watching Wake Up Nigeria.
This is the numero uno breakfast show, and we have a whole lot in store for you today on Wednesday morning. We'll call it a hump day because, you explained it to me the other time.
Okay, yeah.
Like camel.
Yeah,
yeah.
so the hump of the week.
Hump of the week. And, well...
It gets
October,
to a high.
It gets to a high. It gets to a high. So, October is about to end. Today's the 12th. Oh, my man.
Honestly, sharp.
Well, whichever way, we're here to ensure that we take you through the week. My name is Mike Messikeno.
And I'm Titilayo Onyison. Of course, you can watch the show live on GoTV. Yeah, that's channel 60.
Exactly.
Or UHF channel
49. That's for the terrestrial band. Of course, you can hook us up. It's tvcentertainment.tv online. On YouTube, it's TVC Entertainment. Yeah. Social media, TVC Connect, Facebook, Instagram, X, and LinkedIn. All right.
Make sure you connect with us online. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC when you're sending in your comments, your contributions, your prayers, sometimes your jabs. Definitely. We've been receiving a few of those.
Oh, have we?
Yeah, we have in some of our posts.
Part of it. Right. So this morning we have a whole lot in store. We have relationship. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's Wednesday and we normally talk about the relationship, but we don't have relationship for today. So our normal segments, just one or two of them might not be there. But hey, come on, you know how we do this. Naija. We'll wing it. We have a performance coming up. J Vibes will be on the show this morning. Woo!
All right.
Oh, 25th.
Yes, sir.
What's your plan for Christmas?
I like that question.
Sharply.
I really like that
guys.
Anything you're doing for Christmas, you have to start planning now. You have to start saving.
See, it's August. What are you saying? I start planning for Christmas after my birthday.
Oh, wow.
Barely after.
Wow. It is.
Seriously?
It is. You see, for everybody, you have to look for an excuse in this kind of situation to lift your spirits. And for me, Christmas is always a wonderful time to lift my spirits.
Yeah.
So maybe
lifting your spirits, part of it is food, right? So some people have already started shopping.
Of course.
Stocking their kitchen ahead of that time because the prices are going up in December, whether we like it or not. And the prices have been going up steadily since the middle of the year.
Oh, yes.
So everyone's like, you know what? If it's chicken we actually go to eat in December, maybe we should actually get a chick and grow it. Till then,
if you buy it in August by now, chicken gonna be.
Body.
So and I was speaking to someone, just talking about how they were asking whose house are you going to this? It's like everybody has been asking, am I coming to your house for Christmas? I said, don't come home.
No.
See, there's no rice. The rice is expensive. Please stay in your house. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing this Christmas celebration. How it's gonna be.
Noodles. More alternatives to rice, alternatives to those major meals now.
Like, expensive now. Even egg now is 150. So even if you buy egg, you divide it into 4. Why not?
You know, some people. Do you remember when they used to make moi moi and put whole egg inside? That was a while ago.
And they just slice it.
Now it's a
Now
slice.
put the top of it. You not think it's the whole egg. Because the mommy realizes it's beyond.
It's just like that in Kobe scam.
Oh.
That's in Kobe plate scam.
The bowl.
That has been there for a very long time.
Wow.
Well, you see, guys, man, this is how do you keep your head afloat? Taking the lyrics of John Legend when your head's underwater, but you guys are still breathing fine.
Yeah.
What do you do mentally? Because I think now, when we hear so much, how do you mentally keep afloat?
That one is
with all of this.
That one, God matter.
Yeah.
I can't lie. Because sometimes you wonder, at the beginning of the month when you see how much you have left after paying your bills, you wonder how you actually got to that month end.
Yeah.
Because you realize how much you spent in that month was more than your salary.
I think the main thing for me is not focusing on it. Right? A lot of people will say, this is not the first time we're having inflation in Nigeria. Do you understand? My parents would say, oh, we went through this as well. Yeah, even now it seems terrible. Exactly. Do you understand? It seems worse. But then again, I think it's enough for, fine, be abreast with the news, be abreast with what's happening around you. But then again, don't focus on it. Just take it one day at a time, one step at a time. And I think...
So there's this packet drink for kids. It's blackcurrant flavor. You know that one?
Yes.
Yeah, so imagine being at an airport and seeing that as 10,000 naira.
Hey, one. Or a carton?
Because, no, one piece, because of the exchange rate. It was $10. 10,000 naira for that small blackcurrant drink.
Yeah, my sister was actually telling me one wrap of fufu is 70K. If you actually...
It was just...
We'll talk about all of that.
Funny.
We'll talk about all of that. Maybe in the UK, you might just think about growing your own cassava yourself. Let's take a look. Good morning. It's the news on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Mike Messikeno. Justice Ramano Shudi of the Lagos Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court in Ikeja has convicted the medical director of Optical Cancer Care Foundation, Dr. Olufemi Olaleye, for defiling his wife's nurse, who was 16 years old at the time of the offences. The court held that the prosecution proved the two-count charge of defilement and sexual assault by penetration against the defendant. Judiciary correspondent Kemi Fola Adeyemo reports.
Dr. Lale had claimed in his defense that his wife, who filed the complaints against him, concocted the allegations driven largely by monetary gains and then tutored her niece to lie against him. But the court said the prosecution's witnesses, which included the defendant's wife, the survivor who had been living with the Olaleyes since 2019, and the medical doctor who examined her, provided damning evidence which were abundant, consistent, and compelling. The judge said the defendant's testimony in court, where he denied the charges, amounts to a lie, an afterthought, and inconsistent with the statement he made at the Anthony Village Police Station on November 29, 2021, in the presence of his former lawyer Olale Komburuji and the DPO CSP Patricia Amadi, containing his confessions to defiling the minor severally due to a sexual addiction he said he was suffering from. In the court's words, the confessions are direct, consistent, unequivocal, and the words of a genuinely remorseful man, who then made an about-turn by denying the offences. In his plea for leniency, the convict's counsel, Adebisi Oridate, said Dr. Lale was a first-time offender who rendered services to female cancer patients and the state government. But the judge said he was a dangerous offender who must be removed from society.
It goes a long way. Now, it doesn't mind how highly placed you might be in the society. If you are involved in sexual offenses, there will be a day of reckoning.
This is a judgment that many people did not believe can come to pass because of the high status of the defendant.
In family or foe, if you do wrong, Ike Etenshaw will be the first person to stand against you. And that's how it should be. Two of his friends were here in this courtroom. They were giving him high five when they walked in. I'm sure those ones, they are also doing this until you get caught.
Like he said, if he had continued with me in 2015, I would have done proper clinical assessment for him, and I would have discovered that he has this sexual disorder and sexual addiction, and would have started therapy for it.
This is justice for every survivor, for every girl child in Nigeria who has been sexually violated, and you're thinking, when will I ever get justice? This justice is for you.
As part of his punishment, Femi Olaleye, who has been held at the Nigerian Correctional Facility in Ikoyi since his arraignment in November 2022, will also have his name listed in the Lagos State Sexual Offences Register. Kemi Foladiemo, TVC News, Lagos.
Chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum and Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu has met with governors from the region to discuss issues of interest. The governors present at the meeting were Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, Seyi Makinde of Oyo, and Mr. Abiodun Oyebanji of Ekiti. Governor Akeredolu, who appreciated the governors for their solidarity, harped on continuous collaboration amongst the Southwest states. The UN's agency looking after Palestinian refugees says it could be forced to end operations in the Gaza Strip as of this night if more fuel doesn't arrive. People in Gaza will face more misery if it was forced to wind up its work, a spokeswoman told reporters. Israel has laid siege to Gaza for more than 2 weeks. Some supplies reached the territory over the weekend, though no fuel, and Israel has accused Hamas of stockpiling it. Earlier, one of 2 hostages freed by Hamas on Monday gave a press conference saying, "I went through hell that I would not have known." Speaking to the media with her daughter from a hospital in Tel Aviv, 85-year-old Yoshivel described how she was kidnapped by Hamas gunmen on motorbikes. Her husband is still being held.
Since the 21st of October, 3 convoys of humanitarian supplies have gone into the Strip with a total of 54 trucks. This breakthrough came after 2 weeks of full siege of the Gaza Strip with no water, no medical supplies, no humanitarian supplies, no food, and no fuel going in.
And that's it for the news. We'll take a time out now. Stay with us. We'll be back in a bit.
All right. So we are about to talk about what's up and about, especially in our neighborhood. One of the things that are up and about, as you can see, gracing our set today, we have some amazing hampers. Interested in winning one? It's very simple. Right, Mike?
Yeah. So this is courtesy Biggie. Can't you see?
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's just, we're giving movie tickets and these hampers, and the questions are it's just very simple. All you need to do is just tell us the movies or the trailers we spoke about last week on the movie segment.
Yeah, very simple.
Social media might help you.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll put up a post on our social media handles, and then you can reply under the post, or you can send us an X or a tweet and tag us with the handle. Use Wake Up Nigeria on TVC, of course, and tag us. You can win this.
Tag Biggie as well.
Yeah. You can win this, and you can win hampers. There's some nice stuff inside. There's a particular brand that when I see them, I know they're all about cute stuff.
Quality.
There's quite a number of stuff here. There's a hairbrush.
Yeah, that's I was coming to that.
Yeah,
I think that's
very colorful.
I really love that. The ladies are absolutely going to love that. Yeah.
So now these in our hands are actually movie tickets as well. So big shout out to Silverbird Cinemas. Just tag them at Get Biggie at Silverbird Cinemas when you're sending in your answers, and you never know, this ticket might be for you.
Yeah.
So it is the Biggie Watch and Win 4.0 promo.
Yeah, of course. And the offer lasts from 18th to 18th. So 18th October to 18th of November.
Yes. And,
so there's still small
it's been ongoing for a while now. So I think if you're looking to take your loved one out, well, you can get more tickets. The more times you play, the more times you get to win. And we know that times are hard now. So Biggie wants to ensure that you have a good time this holiday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's something we've been saying over the past few days. Davido has been in the news. A number of people have been calling him out, and for a number of reasons. And that is because I think it started from a particular, a show promoter or something based on, I think it was a football.
The Amadou Pinnick.
Yeah, it was a football thingy.
Sports it started with Amadou Pinnick, yes.
Who, they had paid Davido, and then there was talk about how Davido was talking about how maybe Amadou had robbed people and all of that, which for me was not necessary. If you have an agreement, it doesn't, you agree with the person, you knew about the person, that the person killed Jesus Christ or is Judas, and you took the money.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Bam. Let's end that one there. So, but this one now is coming up, and then different people, and then you see people coming from different, there's someone says 1 million, and then the other person says it was 180 million, that it had to do with sponsors and all of that. And I'm sure that if that is the truth, that means you have proof, right? Present the proof to the court of law or whatever. So, definitely. And then the guy showed text messages. So it now reminds me of a particular scenario where a club owner spoke about how a lot of clubs have run down because of celebs, and how these people who come up and give a front, how they actually owe and run down small businesses. And so that's the situation now. Someone now said, it is a wrong thing, or you'd be very unwise to give someone something on credit to a celeb or somebody who's higher placed than you and not get your money back. As in, like giving on credit.
But it's actually interesting because all over the world, celebrities have been known to receive things on credit.
Or for free.
On credit or for free. There's this, I don't know what it is. It's if you see a celeb in a particular place, you take him to VIP and automatically expect that he's going to pay the VIP price for the drinks. And if he doesn't, You know, don't worry, he's good for it.
Yeah, he's good for it.
He's good for it. Don't worry, he will send the money later.
And if he has a good,
a lot of the time,
and if he has a manager that's a good talker,
so
he gets to work away.
You know how many free spa treatments artists, actors, all of them are collecting. You know how many free trips.
Do you know how many? You're talking about.
I'm just saying, artists are known to get things for free. So in my opinion, sometimes calling them out on cash, artists on cash, might not be the way to get the value you need. If I was this person, I know it's a lot of money. I'm just saying, if it was me, I probably would have just said, you know what, guy, promote this for me or something like that.
So that's the thing. So the truth is, right? Fine, is that.
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I know a lot of times, and see, sometimes I would say it is the club owner's fault. Do you understand? Because sometimes you actually go, and because even people that are good for it, that will give you cash, right? They will literally sideline you once the celebrity steps in. So whether he's asking or not, they just believe, okay, because it's a also because they want to have them on their flyers. Because I know one of the situations was that, okay, they put him on the flyer or something like that, and then he said he sent a message, one of the many stories I read, he said he sent a message telling them he's not going to be available for them. Or they kept on promoting with his pictures, and then expecting him to show up.
But he already paid. Yeah,
now let's
they paid.
Let's get it from a legal standpoint. They were pushing because they had paid. You received money, you could have sent it back.
Exactly.
Right? And then this one that had to do with some sponsors. It was an academy, something. From a legal standpoint.
For kids.
For kids and all that. Should you give money to somebody without getting some form of an MOU?
Contract. So back to it. So
you know, I was coming there. We are in a society where a lot of things are just done complacently. Everybody just does things anyhow. Before you get into any sort of agreements or contracts with anyone, you need to sign a contract, whether it's an MOU, no matter how small. You just, for example, Davido is big. I'm sure he has like a slew of lawyers that he could just call one up and say, okay, Oga, send me a contract, and it's just there on standby. You send it via e-copy. The interested parties sign, and then you go back. But anyway, last night also, Dami Crane also tweeted that Davido, first off, he took an artist from his record label. Because of their relationship, he didn't say anything. He was like, oh, why? Baba is good for it. Take the artist. And whether he's been making money from this particular artist or not, nobody knows. But he didn't mention. And then he comes forward also to say that Davido should pay him his money. First off, this is not looking good for Davido's, for someone that we know to be the most, not even generous, not just philanthropic or generous, the richest or wealthiest artist in Africa. Right, because it's not just here, it's not just riding on his integrity, it's also riding on his father's integrity as a politician and as a well-known person in that regard. And that is so this is something that I'm sure that even before he gets out, he should have a formidable PR team that should make sure this sort of gist doesn't get out. So you do damage control immediately, and you make sure that it is sorted before it even gets into the public.
Yeah, but the truth is that the responsibility is on the people reaching out to him for business. Do you understand? You're coming to prove it. So based on, they're riding on the fact that they know, okay, even if you don't want to pay, Papa go pay. Do you understand? But then again, the main thing is that you're reaching out to someone for business, you have the responsibility. Now that's why now the only thing the promoter seems to do is social media, because now taking it to court, what evidence do you have?
Because it's like they don't have,
they don't have no paper, no nothing. It's WhatsApp chats.
So
and all of that.
And
my issue now is you've heard one side.
Exactly.
You've not heard the other side.
That's true.
Fine,
and
we've seen some parts of the evidence. We don't know what was cut. We don't know what was edited. You just don't know. Before you get into an agreement with any of these artists, get everything documented. Make sure the agreement is airtight. If not, just leave it. It's not worth the stress.
Yeah, if we had 30 minutes, we'll probably still be talking about this. Maybe in the second half we will get to it, because we'll take some social media. We'll have social media
comments on it,
readouts today. So we'll probably get back to that. You just be careful out there. We'll talk more about this, but we'll just take a time out now. Stay with us. We'll be back. The show is just getting on the road.
Welcome back. It's time for us to take a quick look at what's happening on the covers of the dailies this morning. I'm going to be doing this with Mike Messi-Keno, and we have The Nation this morning. Today is Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. Headline here says federal government unfolds Forex, tax, jobs, investment policies. 260 taxes to be slashed to single digit. Merging of BDCs, Forex apps, dealers into official Forex market. Now, some of the key points are right there listed on the cover of The Nation there on forex, tax, jobs, and palliatives, and some interesting quotes as the story starts there on the cover and wraps up on page 4. Oil thieves deploy CCTV mortar launchers along pipeline routes. NMPCL security say we won't relent in battle against criminals. Akeredolu receives Sanwo-Olu, Makinde, Abiodun Oyebanji, and Aye Datiwa rights chief judge. Story starts there on the cover and wraps up on page 5. Let's see what else we have here. Top left, U.S. court rejects request for FBI's report on Tinubu. Land racketeering rocks FCTA. EFCC chair orders staff members to declare assets. And Senate defends 160 million naira SUVs for National Assembly members.
A lot of people have spoken about that.
Yeah.
I saw, I can't remember the name of the senator now who came out to defend it and said that ministers have 4 cars and the roads are bad, and that is why they're insisting that they have to have a particular brand and a particular type of car, and it doesn't make for a good read. It doesn't make for a good, it doesn't look good. It just doesn't. It would seem as though the citizenry is the one that is expected to tighten the purse strings and, you know, and bear the brunt of the inflation and whatever is happening with the economy. We need to see our leaders across all strata show that this is and you know, the cost of governance is something. Look at that amount on vehicles, 3, 4 for one person in this particular kind of scenario. And these are cars that you are going to source for with foreign currency.
I was actually going to say that.
They are not. It is not something they are going to source for with local currency. It is not even local. You're not patronizing locally made goods.
I was actually. It's as if you're in my head right now.
It doesn't look good. I would say this in no way. It doesn't look good. You listen to stuff like this across all strata, and this is not just it's not just about one person. It's about all of them. We need to understand that. Look, you need to understand the pulse of the people at the moment, and it should show. You cannot be making an excuse and say ministers are using 4 and they're using 3 and then the roads are bad. It's too flippant, and it is not a good look.
We have so many other headlines to get through. If we start on that conversation now, Mike, we might not wrap it up in time. Let's go to the Daily Trust newspaper. It says here, war on Gaza. UN Secretary General accuses Israel of violating international humanitarian law. Says we must oppose anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim bigotry. An Israeli ambassador calls for Guterres' resignation. Israeli police shut down Al-Aqsa Mosque. And, of course, there is a photo story, a very troubling photo story there on the cover of the Gaza Strip. A Palestinian man mourning as civil defense teams and residents search for people trapped in the debris after an Israeli airstrike. Now, there is, just beneath the masthead there, other headlines. Kogi, Bayelsa, Imo governorship polls. INEC chair raises alarm over violence. MTN ordered to pay 57.5 billion naira tax default to federal government. Elder statesman Adamu Fika dies at 90. And at the bottom there, how banditry forced Zamfara residents out of their homes. Any story you would like to touch on there, Mike?
Oh, definitely. If we take a look at, it's the war,
the war on Gaza.
The humanitarian crisis, as it were. You know, I tell somebody that no matter what side you might want to think you support in this particular scenario, civilians, women and children should not be collateral damage. They should not be made to bear the brunt of this. And especially when you hear a hospital was hit, a hospital that had a majority of children who were there. So the humanitarian crisis is what, and then someone spoke about how the U.S. might be fighting from both sides because they are trying to offer humanitarian aid to some Palestinians in the Strip and all of that. Look, my point is, we should do all we can as the international community to ensure that civilian lives are safe. yes, Hamas and all of that, people, people have to defend the integrity of their state, as it were. But it should not cost civilian lives. That is where the thing, that is the problem, the humanitarian efforts. And it's hard, but that is where the concern should be.
It also does feel like many of the, the onus lies on the press at this point to actually share the right information, because it has been sort of one-sided with some of the international press, having more access to one side than the other,
definitely.
in terms of information, and a lot of people not actually seeing the truth. But I think for the first time, social media, well, not for the first time, but social media is putting out the right information so that people see the truth.
Okay, so let's head on to the Nigerian Tribune.
Yeah.
And we see that annoying headline once again. Senate justifies purchase of 160 million naira for SUVs. Says Nigerians should examine lifestyle of ministers. Probes 11.35 trillion spent on refineries maintenance since 2010. Refineries that have not refined a single drop of oil in all that time. Okay, yeah, all right. FG unveils plan to reduce collectible taxes. Up above the flag of the paper there, you can see U.S. court denies urgent request for release of Tinubu's dossier. A court sentences Lagos Dr. Olaileye to life imprisonment for raping wife's niece. Clerk to Tinubu amend NDDC Act to exclude Imo, Abia, Ondo as non-Niger Delta states. Odua investment moves to revolutionize digital education in Southwest, launches defined project, and then reps invite CBN government over lifting of FX ban on 43 items. Nigeria to vaccinate 7.7 million girls against leading cause of cervical cancer. I saw that story over the past few days, and I was quite pleased with that particular scenario that now we have vaccines for cervical cancer.
There has always been a vaccine, actually, for it. Okay. It's just how accessible it was.
Exactly. Accessibility to those vaccines, and it was something pleasing to read. The Punch here says, Tinubu panel asks government to drop 190 taxes. OPS blames states. We have here, Senate probes 11 trillion refinery repairs, summons carry. I don't know what there is to probe there. EFCC chair orders staff to declare assets. And reps for CBN's Forex ban lift, and NECA kicks. Just below the flag there, at the bottom of the paper, DSS nabbed suspected terrorist wives, recovers 150 AK-47 rifles. Lagos cancer doctor Olaileye bags life jail for rape. And slain Nigerian student, Philippines police file murder cases against suspects. All of that on the front page of the
I was going to touch on Dr. Olaileye getting the life sentence there. Now, for any woman who has been examined by a doctor, they know how vulnerable they are in front of doctors and how much trust we put in doctors, especially a doctor who was known for breast cancer, events and outreaches and so many different things. Now, this is justice for any young girl who has been through any struggle of any sort when it comes to rape, abuse, sexual abuse, that, yes, they have been heard. Someone has actually been prosecuted and has gone down for it, and he's going to jail for life now, according to the courts. Now, there's still a lot more information about that story that will be coming out in our news bulletins.
Considering that a number of people fought for it, and from the news report that we took earlier, some people didn't believe that due to the standing and the reputation of this person who has been a servant, in quotes, to society and even the government and the general populace, and the standing, that it was going to be hard to get justice, but justice was gotten, and this is so. To the women out there who have experienced this, who are stigmatized and might not want to come out, this is a victory on that front, that yes, in this kind of issues, you can come out, you should mention. But at the same time, I would also want a deterrent to those who accuse falsely, because that is also another part of it, that people don't talk so much about. But now we're saying that you can come out, and then when, it's kind of hard to get a conviction in cases like this, because evidence can be hard, to get. But in this case, we're happy that it happened and all of that like that. So, hey, you know.
A lot of people are giving their, comments and contributions on that, and we would love to hear your thoughts on it as well. Please make sure you share your thoughts on this particular story, especially use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. We would love to hear your thoughts. At this point, we're going to be wrapping up on the headlines in the dailies for this morning. There's still so much more coming your way right here on Wake Up Nigeria.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still tuned into the Wake Up Nigeria show. Now it's time for some interesting conversation on women at empowerment and advocacy. With us here on the couch is Paul Thomas. He's the founder of Comfort Women Empowerment and Advocacy Foundation. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for being here on the show with us.
Ma'am.
Now, women empowerment is very critical. Right now in the development of the nation and in the development of, women generally.
Right.
You have an NGO that caters to that
right.
and also focuses on domestic violence victims, women who have been through different abuses.
Right.
Now let's talk more about what inspired, the foundation.
Okay, first of all, my name is Paul Akinyemi Thompson, the Thompson without a P. In 1965, a little girl was born, and she was from a very poor family. And the mom felt like she knew this man of God, this pastor, like, can you please watch after my daughter, And the man accepted, right? And when they got to, my grandma handed my mom over to this man.
This pastor.
And this pastor, yeah, a man of God, actually. He's a reverend, actually. And when my mom was 12, he started molesting her. He started sleeping with her forcefully. And this little girl was complaining, was telling people that this man abuses me, but nobody believed her, for so long. And during the process, even though the man is married, he had about 10 wives, actually. And he kept doing it, And when my mom, the little girl was complaining, this man took this little girl to another place so that he can have his way with her. So during the process, this little girl had a first child, I think when she was 16 or 17, and 3 years later, they had me. And we were made to believe that we are the reason for that. All of the family started calling us a slave, or Mweru, and I had to grow up with that, and for 25 years, all of my life, I was struggling with self-esteem because I didn't really believe in myself. I actually wanted to commit suicide so many times, because I felt like I wasn't good enough. And I was so lucky I traveled abroad. So when I traveled abroad, and even before I traveled abroad, one of these women made me to eat my own poop. Yes. Yeah, it was very, very sad. So crazy, but I was just lucky to travel abroad. And when I traveled abroad, I felt like, when people were talking about their family, I can't really talk about mine because there's nothing to talk about. Right. So, but I had to summon the courage because if that can happen to me or to someone like my mom, imagine people that doesn't have a voice. So we came up with the idea to start a Comfort Empowerment and Advocacy Foundation, whereby we're going to be educating people about advocating, empowerment, and education. So that's the main idea behind it.
How old is Comfort Empowerment?
Well, the idea started in 2009.
Okay.
But in 2014 or 15, we registered the company, the NGO in Nigeria here.
Okay.
And ever since then, I usually come around to Nigeria. I do community outreach. So even sometime last week when somewhere called Agboyi in Ketu, it was a very rural area. And we were doing trying to talk to women and the men too.
Okay, now, so far since 2009, you just recently came into Nigeria. Let's focus on Nigeria because we have a lot of women and young girls who are currently going through some sort of abuse or the other. How are you able to reach out to these girls? Recently we heard of a case of Dr. Femi Olalaye.
Yeah, I follow that case very closely.
This 16-year-old girl, because his case, his story is very similar to yours.
Right.
The young girl's story is very similar to your mom's. And then there are also, I've, also advocated for, I've had outreaches at secondary schools where, some of those girls are living with, in families where they're being constantly molested. They don't know what to do. How do you reach out to these girls? How do they reach out to you to seek help, to seek solace, to seek comfort?
Well, first of all, we have a program in our foundation. It's called Anonymous Reporting. A lot of time, people don't feel comfortable coming out to talk about what happens to them.
Very true.
So with this, we're able to connect with people on a personal level. We actually go around to about community advocating. We do that a lot. We go to schools, we go to church, we go to mosque. You know, we talk to people about like the danger of not speaking out, because most of the time it happens by grooming. I was actually molested too as a kid by my stepsister, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, and these are the things I had to grow up with, you know, and I had to I survived it, let me use that. So what we do most of the time, we do something called a PSA, Public Service Announcement.
Okay.
We've been doing that.
Okay.
You know, we've been empowering some women, but even though it's not on a larger scale. So the goal is to do it on a bigger way, in a bigger, larger scale, whereby people are going to feel comfortable, because most of the time people don't feel comfortable to talk about domestic violence and sexual violence.
You know, I know that over time, some of the challenges that a lot of foundations, NGOs as yours or as, are currently going through is sustainability, being able to sustain it. So you do the outreach, you have people come to you,
right?
But now it is finding a place of solace for them, a place of abode.
Right.
So for example, a domestic violence victims, a woman who's been through so much violence from her spouse,
right,
and she comes to your NGO for help. How do you help to take her out of that space into a place where she feels safe?
Thank you. That's a very good question. Let me take you back just a few seconds, right? In 3 years ago, I had a conversation with my mom. I said, why do you stay with this man? This man is abusing you, do all of these things to you. Why do you stay with him? And she told me that there's no way to go. So that gave me an idea to start something called shelter, a safe house. Even though we still we are like 95% completed.
Okay.
So with that, it's going to be a temporary.
Is this here in Nigeria?
Yeah. I mean, everything we've been doing is here in Nigeria. Okay. So I usually come around just to advocate about what we do.
Okay.
So we're building a safe house, which is about 95% complete. You know, the goal of that place is to make sure that people can come, because most of the time when you tell people to leave where they are, when someone is abusing them, they don't have a place to go.
Yes.
And it's very, very sad.
Yes, even for a lot of young girls.
Right, so that's the idea of the safe house. And I believe the Lagos State government, the DSVR team, they actually create something like that too, which is very, very amazing.
Yes.
And I believe that it can even improve on that, you know. So that's the idea of the safe house.
Thank you so much, Paul. This has been very, very insightful conversation. I'm sure someone watching right now who's going through any sort of violence or whatnot, you can always reach out to the Comfort Women Empowerment and Advocacy Foundation. You can, most importantly, also reach out to domestic and sexual violence response team. All you just need to do is Google them up, check them out, their contact numbers, their address, all the information that you need is available to you. Thank you so much for what you're doing. We'll have to go on a quick break now. The show continues shortly. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome back, our wonderful viewers. The second hour is upon us. You're still watching Wake Up Nigeria.
Yep, it's been quite an interesting first hour. We had a discussion to wrap first hour, newspaper reviews, of course, and we had to talk what's up and about, and of course our giveaway. Titi, you want to mention a little bit on the giveaway that we mentioned earlier?
So the Biggie 4.0 watch and win promo is still on. We have movie tickets just for you, and we have gift hampers. They were here on the set earlier on. Don't worry, they're packed full of really great goodies. And it's very simple. Just tell us, what were the movie trailers we talked about on Friday? This is the last Friday that just passed, not the one before. This one, this past one. Yeah, like 4 days ago? Is it 4 days ago?
And if we still have some of those hampers in the kitchen, if they can see them.
I think they've taken them out.
They've taken them out.
But we have two amazing packages.
So they should, let's give them out, yeah?
MM and Winfrey are the packages.
Give away. MM and Winfrey. Which one you want? Just the lab. Both of them yellow. They're yellow. Mommy water or banji. You get them. You have your copy.
You can't handle it. Don't bother. You can't handle it.
Oh my goodness.
This is one package you can't wrap.
Mike, you're in the wrong profession.
Whichever one you want, they come with all their baggage and their wallet. Just pick anyone. We'll give you free. Give away.
Literally.
Right? But hey, girl, how's it going this morning?
We're doing well. We're doing very well. We apologize. Our chef couldn't make it on the show today. He's somewhere. But well, I hope we're tasty enough for you.
Yeah, definitely. Mike, as I was saying, you literally need to go to a bus park. Those guys that do that thing in the bus, you get. No, the ones that sell things on the bus. Have you been there before?
No.
On the bus, inside bus.
Okay, those guys are
one medicine, all treatments.
Wow.
That's it right there.
You know, there was actually a joke out there about those guys on the buses now going onto the trains. Oh. And starting that on the trains.
Please, they shouldn't do that.
Oh.
No, don't.
No, don't.
They have more clients. The trains are longer. Why not?
You know what happens? I have been looking forward to. I've not taken any of the train rides.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how. I heard there's no charging port. Is there a charging port?
How long is this train ride that you're looking for? Charging port, Mike. How long is this train ride?
Don't play. Don't play.
Carry power bank now.
Don't play. Don't play. But hey, come on.
My name is Titilayo Oyinson.
Mike Meskeno is mine. Remember, you can hit us up. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC across social media to be a part of all the conversations we've been having so far.
Yeah, it's really enthusiastic in that particular space. So you want to be part of that journey, just use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and connect with us on all socials. We still have quite a bit coming away.
Birthday shout-outs, but we have a performance from J Vibes coming up this morning.
J Vibes.
Beloved brother. Blackface.
Wow.
It's in the news again.
Okay.
And Mike.
Mike was scared of.
Oh, no, man.
Mike actually relates with because, you know, Mike and Blackface are like two peas in a pod.
They go way back.
I know.
They go way back.
For those that don't know who Blackface is, you know, he was one of the members of the Plantation Boys.
Plantation Boys.
No, trust me, there are still a few people that don't know.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I don't think my children will know who Plantation Boys are.
My kids won't either.
So I do, for Blackface, man, I don't know. Before I'd have said you need some therapy, and this is serious. This is not me joking. To talk to someone, but you see, I always tell people that talking about a situation doesn't always equate to
healing.
To healing for everybody.
To be very honest, to an it might not be total, but to an extent it does.
It helps.
It's because how does what's her name? Justin Timberlake and
Britney Spears.
How does healing help putting Justin Timberlake's name out there and then causing him wahala?
But
healing you.
Yeah, but do you know if she's healing?
Wahala.
But do you know if she's healing?
But she cheated. She was cheating on him.
Vengeance.
She was cheating on him with Wade Robson.
And that's what.
Wow.
And so
of all people.
Okay. Look at
Sorry,
with all the healing that has been happening, how many are Jada Pinkett healed?
Wow.
My point I'm trying to make is this. My point I'm trying to make for Blackface is that, he has gone on with this for a very long time. It doesn't seem like he's going to end anytime soon.
Exactly. What if this is his way of staying relevant?
The same thing I was saying.
Relevant.
Like, that's the only topic that he knows that stays the water. So he's going to keep on pushing
Yes,
it.
I think so.
Whoever wants to hear.
I mean, if he releases a song today, will you listen to it? Except if it's the
it will probably get streams if there is some controversy.
Exactly. So there's a publicity stunt.
Exactly.
So you say something that will push the music up, and then when you now talk about the music, people will now run to this party.
He should sing about this. He should sing about everything. He should put that out in
a song, right? Full album.
Not even one song will not do. A total complete album, and I feel like that was totally. Yeah, he's listening to. He can listen to it, and so.
Okay. The news once again. I am Mike Meskeno. Justice Romano Shudi of illegal sexual offences in domestic violence court in Ikeja has convicted the medical director of Optical Cancer Care Foundation, Dr. Olufemi Olaleye, for defiling his wife's niece, who was 16 years old, as at the time of the offence. The court held that the prosecution proved the two-count charge of defilement and sexual assault by penetration against the defendant. Judiciary correspondent Kemi Fola Adeyemo reports.
Dr. Lale had claimed in his defense that his wife, who filed the complaints against him, concocted the allegations driven largely by monetary gains and then tutored her niece to lie against him. But the court said the prosecution's witnesses, which included the defendant's wife, the survivor who had been living with the Olaleyes since 2019, and the medical doctor who examined her, provided damning evidence which were abundant, consistent, and compelling. The judge said the defendant's testimony in court where he denied the charges amounts to a lie, an afterthought and inconsistent with the statement he made at the Anthony Village Police Station on November 29, 2021, in the presence of his former lawyer Olale Komburuji and the DPO CSP Patricia Amadi, containing his confessions to defiling the minor severally due to a sexual addiction he said he was suffering from. In the court's words, the confessions are direct, consistent, unequivocal, and the words of a genuinely remorseful man, who then made an about-turn by denying the offenses. In his plea for leniency, the convict's counsel, Adebisi Oridate, said Dr. Lale was a first-time offender who rendered services to female cancer patients and the state government. But the judge said he was a dangerous offender who must be removed from society.
It goes a long way. Now, it doesn't mind how highly placed you might be in the society. If you are involved in sexual offenses, there will be a day of reckoning.
This is a judgment that many people did not believe can come to pass because of the high status of the defendant.
In family of four, if you do wrong, Ike Attention will be the first person to stand against you. And that's how it should be. Two of his friends were here in this courtroom. They were giving him high five when they walked in. I'm sure those ones, they are also doing this until you get caught.
Like he said, if he had continued with me in 2015, I would have done proper clinical assessment for him, and I would have discovered that he has this sexual disorder and sexual addiction, and would have started therapy for it.
This is justice for every survivor, for every girl child in Nigeria who has been sexually violated, and you're thinking, when will I ever get justice? This justice is for you.
As part of his punishment, Femi Olaleye, who has been held at the Nigerian Correctional Facility in Ikoyi since his arraignment in November 2022, will also have his name listed in the Lagos State Sexual Offences Register. Kemi Foladiemo, TVC News, Lagos.
Chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum and Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu has met with governors from the region to discuss issues of national interest. The governors present at the meeting were Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, and Mr. Biodun Oyebanji of Ekiti. Governor Akeredolu, who appreciated the governors for their solidarity, harped on continuous collaboration between the Southwest states. But on to foreign news, the UN's agency looking after Palestinian refugees says it could be forced to end operations in the Gaza Strip as of this night if more fuel doesn't arrive. People in Gaza would face more misery if it was forced to wind up its work, a spokeswoman told reporters. Israel has laid siege to Gaza for more than 2 weeks. Some supplies reached the territory over the weekend, though no fuel, and Israel has accused Hamas of stockpiling it. Earlier, one of 2 hostages freed by Hamas on Monday gave a press conference saying, "I went through hell that I could not have known." Speaking to the media with her daughter from a hospital in Tel Aviv, 85-year-old Yoshev described how she was kidnapped by Hamas gunmen on motorbikes. Her husband is still being held.
Convoys of humanitarian supplies have gone into the Strip with a total of 54 trucks. This breakthrough came after 2 weeks of full siege of the Gaza Strip with no water, no medical supplies, no humanitarian supplies, no food, and no fuel going in.
That's it on the news for now. We'll take a time out. Stay with us. Yeah, it's been a wonderful show. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. Our giveaway is still on. Remember, movie tickets, hampers, and of course, either or
Winfrey. Yes.
We'll see you
tomorrow morning. 7
Have a great day, people.
Bye.